Hi, I'm Andrew Hollister, CISO and VP of Labs at LogRhythm. In this HelpNet security video, I'll be talking about 7 metrics security leaders can use to measure the effectiveness of their security operations. And I suppose the first question is, why measure at all? And I think the core to the answer here is really that cybersecurity needs to be seen as a business process, just like any other. You can't improve what you don't measure. And in this context, what is improvement really all about? It's all around understanding the effectiveness of your investments, whether those are human resource investments or technical resource investments. But really, it's also around reducing the dwell time of an attacker in the environment. If we agree that it's when, not if, an attacker will compromise your organization, then the time that they have before detection really is critical, both for the attacker and for the defender. So let's talk about the metrics a bit more specifically. And within these 7 metrics, there are really 2 overarching metrics, and that's the mean time to detect and the mean time to respond. And these track the overall effectiveness of your security operations over time. They show trends across the SOC as a whole, but they also could be, for example, tied to different analysts or to different types of incident. And we break these 2 overarching metrics down into 5 component parts: the time to triage, the time to qualify, the time to investigate, the time to mitigate, and the time to recover. And I just want to briefly walk through these and give some insights into how they can be leveraged to actually drive improvements in your security operations. So let's start with alarm time to triage. This measures how long it takes before a team member actually inspects an alarm that has been raised. So really, I suppose it's a proxy of your team's real-time responsiveness to threats. If the time to triage is slow, then the team, or perhaps the level 1 analyst at least, might be overloaded, and this could be an indicator of a need for more staff. There could also be some other issues here, including perhaps the solution is to hire more staff, but also looking at whether the team should perhaps narrow its focus a little bit, or that perhaps more tuning is required on the alarms. And breaking this metric down further by alarm type and by analyst can help to reveal some of the underlying causes here. The second metric is the alarm time to qualify, and this measures how long does it take the team to fully understand the alarm and decide, is this a true threat, or can it be closed without further action required? And if this time to qualify is slow, then it might indicate that the team needs more training. They perhaps need to better understand the environment and what a true threat looks like. But it also might indicate weakness in the security operations platform itself, i.e. that the relevant data is not readily available and kind of consumable in an intuitive way. Thirdly, we have the threat time to investigate. And this really measures how long did it take to fully investigate a qualified threat. And if this investigation time is long, this might give some similar indications as we just discussed in the time to qualify, i.e. that there are training needs, or perhaps there are weaknesses in the security operations platform itself that need to be addressed. It could also be that collaboration with other teams within the organization is a factor here, i.e., for example, if some expertise in particular areas of the infrastructure needs to be called on, and that's only available in another team and you can't get hold of them, that could slow down your time to investigate. And perhaps, the organization is just too siloed. Number 4, time to mitigate. And this really measures how long did it take to mitigate an incident and address the immediate risk to the business. And this is all about immediate measures to stop the threat, or at the very least to slow it down. And when we think about attackers, they aren't just trying to enter an environment, they have a goal. And this measurement is all about looking at how effective we are at preventing the attacker from reaching that ultimate goal. And if the time to mitigate is long, it could perhaps be an indicator of lacks in the playbooks. Maybe they're too generic, or perhaps they don't even exist at all for certain types of incident. Automation might well be a part of the solution here. For example, if I have a pre-packaged action to block an IP address at the firewall, that doesn't require me to go looking for the right firewall, the credentials, remember what the right command is, and so on and so forth. That is really going to save me time in this critical moment of response and mitigation. And finally, time to recover measures how long did it take to fully recover from an incident. Mitigation is all about addressing the immediate risk. Recovery is about clean up and restoration of services, as well as lessons learned. So that's the 5, and perhaps back to the overarching time to detect and time to respond that I mentioned to start with. These are, in fact, the overall summary metrics of the ones we just discussed in detail, and they provide the higher level picture. So incident time to detect really measures the overall time taken to confirm an incident was initially detected and ultimately qualified, i.e. it's the time taken to respond to the alarm and investigate it. And this takes us to the moment where we either close the case and move on, or we promote it to an incident. And time to detect is really a key measure of security operations effectiveness, because it enables us to understand how long it takes to identify threats that actually result in an incident. Time to respond measures the amount of time taken to investigate and mitigate a confirmed incident. It doesn't include recovery time, since once mitigation has taken place, the immediate risk has already been addressed. And time to respond is really a key measure of security operations effectiveness, because it enables us to understand how long it takes to analyze and mitigate threats that actually resulted in an incident. Okay, I hope this has been a useful overview of the 7 metrics. Measuring these over time will give you insight into the performance of your security operations, as well as helping you to show value to your stakeholders from your investments in people, process, and technology.